Hey guys, biracial Tiffany here. I'm gonna post the rest of the video that I made on the day that I made the video about the novel Passing, but it's not that long, and not that I want it to be, but I just wanted to say thank you to my 430 some subscribers. I just am stunned that there are that many people that care. I want to know when I have a video up. So thank you very much, and especially those of you that have been around since the beginning. Thanks a lot for your attention and support and your comments and listening to me say, hey guys, biracial Tiffany here so many times. I would also take this opportunity, since I'm dog sitting and I'm away from my home, and I have a lot more space because my apartment is very small and my kitchen is in my living room. So obviously I got my hair straightened a little while ago, but it's gone back a little. So I am touching up my kitchen in this kitchen, and I'd always been meaning to show a hot comb. So I thought I'd take this time to thank my subscribers and to show a hot comb. I think I let it get a little too hot. I'm not that good at multitasking, and I don't want another hair. Put it here and let it rest for a second. But anyway, yeah, and I say, hey, biracial Tiffany, because for people who, I assume start just watching some random video they find that's related to something else. And it is titled Mulatto Diaries, and I don't call myself a mulatto. So I just wanted to sort of make that clear to people that though I entitle this series the Mulatto Diaries, I don't call myself a mulatto, and also it just sort of answers that what are you question right away. And I would love it if someone said, instead of what are you, or are you Dominican, or are you Puerto Rican, oh, are you black and white? That would be great. So I'm working toward that, and that's why I say biracial Tiffany every time. And I'm sorry that I waste 3 seconds of people's time that already know, and I really do appreciate you bearing with me through that. Yeah, so I could go on and on about why I use the word mulatto, but I don't really feel like it right now. So yeah, for those of you who may not have seen a hot comb, there it is. And what I mean by my kitchen, because not everybody might know that term either, it's like when you sweat, like this hair right here around your scalp, because in the day, people would straighten their hair, but the women would cook, and they'd fry chicken or stand over a hot stove or whatever, and the hair would go back in those areas because they would sweat, so that's called the kitchen. And it's, it's really underneath is the big part, but I'm a little nervous about making a video and trying to hot comb my hair, which I don't do very often myself. But anyway, here she is. They still make those things, I think. Mine's 15 years old. Thanks for watching. Oh, wait, there's more video, so please keep watching. Bye. So here's the history portion. It's a big case. Plessy v. Ferguson. Finally decided in 1896, but began on June 7, 1892, when a 30-year-old colored shoemaker named Homer Plessy was jailed for sitting in the white car of the East Louisiana Railroad. Plessy was only 1/8 black and 7/8 white, but under Louisiana law, he was considered black and therefore required to sit in a colored car. Plessy went to court and argued in Homer Adolph Plessy versus the state of Louisiana that the Separate Car Act violated the 13th and the 14th Amendments to the Constitution. The judge was John Howard Ferguson, a lawyer from Massachusetts who had previously declared the Separate Car Act unconstitutional on trains that traveled through several states. But in this case, he decided that the state could choose to regulate railroad companies that operated only within Louisiana. He found Plessy guilty of refusing to leave the white car. Plessy appealed twice, and they found him guilty twice. Well, they upheld the first decision, and then they found him guilty, the Supreme Court of Louisiana. And speaking for a 7-person majority, Justice Henry Brown, who was the last judge to get the case, wrote, that the Separate Car Act does not conflict with the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, a statute which implies merely illegal distinction between the white and colored races, a distinction which is founded in the color of the two races and which must always exist so long as white men are distinguished from the other race by color. The object of the 14th Amendment was undoubtedly to enforce the absolute equality of the two races before the law, but in the nature of things it could not have been intended to abolish distinctions based upon color, or to enforce social as distinguished from political equality, or commingling of the two races upon terms unsatisfactory to either. Although not specifically written in the decision, Plessy set the precedent that separate facilities for blacks and whites were constitutional as long as they were equal. Separate but equal quickly extended to cover many areas of public life, such as theaters, restaurants, restrooms, and public schools. The Supreme Court of the United States determined that if legislation makes distinctions based on race but does not deprive anyone of rights or privileges, it is constitutional. Blah, blah. So, like, if the white people and the black people can see the same movie, but they sit in separate areas, or they have to see it on the same day, no one's being deprived of the experience of seeing the movie. Anyway, one of the decision's less obvious results was that it also gave official sanction to the one-drop rule. That is, the Plessy ruling held that individual states could decide whether and how to classify citizens by race, and states which were so inclined could assert that any person with one black ancestor counted as black and was therefore subject to second-class citizenship. I don't think I have a lot to say about that, other than that was a big case, because the decisions that were made then, the ways of thinking about things and what was fair, and decisions that were made to keep people apart in certain ways, I think a lot of that stemmed from this case, so I just wanted to tell people about it. And also, it's like Homer Plessy, we can pretty much deduce, and he looked white. He must have earlier in his life made a decision not to pass for white. He was known as a colored shoemaker. I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting because so many people seem to want to accuse biracial people of wanting to be white. But I think in examples such as Homer Plessy, and back when it would really behoove one, like, how could you not want to be white when you couldn't do anything because you were black? His life would have been easier in some ways if he had passed. And Walter White of the NAACP, totally white-looking man. But you couldn't pay me to leave my blackness, and I think they are like the greatest proof of that kind of mentality that I like to think of biracial people as having. So that's all. I hope I can make this into one vlog about passing.